the earlier class, we have already discussed about the Raspberry Pi's journey basically. Okay, that how the Raspberry Pi originated and what are the different iterations of Raspberry Pi have come up in these few years. Okay, starting from 2012 to 2021, and by next year it will be completing around 10 years after the advent of Raspberry Pi. So whatever models have come up, okay, and what are their features, we have already discussed these things. As you have already seen that initially it started with a single core processor of 7 megahertz, and now it has come up to a quad core processor. Okay, so obviously computing capability has improved, the amount of RAM has also increased. Okay, all these things we have already discussed. Okay, so now, and the next thing that we will be discussing is some Python programming. Okay, so if you want to program the Raspberry Pi, if you want to execute programs, then there are actually different ways. Not only this Python, there is a Scratch also, where you could use graphical programming. Okay, so that is more suitable for youngsters who don't have much of programming knowledge basically. Okay, and if you still want to work with Python, that is great. With the Scratch, it is great. But if you want to uh, like program the Raspberry Pi using a programming language, the Python is the one of the most suited languages for the Raspberry Pi's programming. Okay, being open source, obviously you don't have to buy it. You could just download it from the internet, and you could just install it, and you could run the programs also in your normal desktop computer. And once you are good to go with the program, you could execute, you could just have that program on Raspberry Pi, and you could run it. Okay, you could do IO operations, and a lot of other operations can be performed using the Python program. Okay, so today we will be discussing about this particular Python programming. Okay, so what is Python? Let us first understand. Okay, so Python is basically a general purpose, interpreted, interactive, okay, object oriented and high level programming language. Let me write the statement about Python. So Python is a general purpose, okay, interpreted. I hope you understand what is interpreted. What is an interpreter? So interpreted, interactive, object oriented, and high level programming language. Okay, Python source code is actually available under GNU license or the GPL. Okay, where you could modify the code, and you could just use it according to your requirement. Okay, there is absolutely no restrictions on the use basically if you are using a GPL license. Okay, so it is open source, and besides that, it is a like really a versatile language, very easy to script, just like your MATLAB. Okay, you don't need to declare the variables beforehand. Like suppose a value is there, whether it is integer or float, you don't need to declare all those things. Okay, that is the good thing about it. Okay, you don't need to declare it. You could just assign the values, and it will automatically detect, okay, this is just a float or this is just a integer. It is that kind of language. Okay, and it is developed by a core development team at the National Research Institute. Now let us go to the different kinds of input output statements, the conditional statements, and the operators, and the kinds of variables that are there, or the kinds of data types that are there in the Python. Okay, so first is the input output statements. Okay, so first is your output statement. Obviously, these are the most important statements. You get the result, you provide the output using these statements. You could just input the data also using this kind of statement. Okay, so the function used to print output is the print statement. Okay, the first one is the print statement. It is used to print the output. Okay, the syntax is like this. Whenever you will go to the command prompt of Python, the prompt will be like this. Okay, 3 greater than symbol is the kind of prompt that you will be getting in Python. Okay, so there if you just type print, okay, all in small letters, print, then in double quotes, okay, you write here hello space world. Okay, so this thing will be displayed. Okay, the output will be hello world. Okay, so print is just the output statement. Okay, if you want, you could also print values. Let's say we are storing a variable a with 2, a is equal to 2. See, you don't need to give a semicolon here also. That is, it is that great a language, huh? You don't need to give a semicolon also at the end. Okay, a is equal to 2, then you have to print this value. So for that you could type print, okay, then in double quotes the value, okay, of a is. So this is the message that you are going to display, and then the number. So just give a comma after this double quote close, you would just give a comma and then you could type a. So what will be the output? It will type that the value of a is, the value of a is how much? The value what we have stored in a. If you could recall, in a we have stored 2, so it will just give you the value 2. Okay, so in this way it will be executed. Similarly, let us see how we could take inputs in this kind of this Python. Okay, so if we type n is equal to, okay, input, okay, then in bracket, suppose you want to display some message. Okay, when you are taking some input signal, you want to display some message that enter the first number or enter a number. You could type it here. So enter a number. Okay, so in this way. So if you execute this, okay, then it will ask you to enter a number. Okay, it will ask you to enter a number like this. Okay, and here you have to type 5 or any other number, and then you have to press enter. Okay, so this way you could execute it. Once you have done this, you could again display this number also. If you just use a print statement, print, okay, then in bracket if you type the number you entered, the number you entered, okay, entered is, double quote is closed, then comma, then n. This way, if you just execute this, it will display that the number is, sorry, entered, you entered, sorry, you entered is whatever n is the value of n, it will display that. So the value of n, let's say you have entered 5, so 5 will be displayed like this. Got it? So these are the input and output statements that we will be using. Print and then the input command was used. So these commands are quite similar to MATLAB. If you could see in MATLAB, you will have the same input command and the exact same way to actually uh, like in the exactly in the same way we mention it. Okay, and in place of print, I think we have a display command in MATLAB. That is the difference. However, the input statement is similar. Okay. So one more thing I would like to add here is that even MATLAB could be used to program Raspberry Pi. Okay, nowadays MATLAB is also allowing, it is providing the uh, the interface, okay, through which you could connect Raspberry Pi and you could also program it. So both ways you could do it. Okay. The next thing that we will be discussing are the operators in Python. Okay. So operators in Python. So what are the different kinds of operators in Python? One by one we will see. Okay, so the first one type of operator are your arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators. Okay, so like we had the different operators in C and C++, similar operators are here also. So we have a addition operator. Okay, addition, subtraction, okay, multiplication, then division. You all know what are the job of these operators, right? So I don't need to discuss them again. Let me just show you some important operators that are not there in some other programming languages, like this percentage. Okay, so this is basically a modulus operator, modulus arithmetic operator. What it does is it divides the left hand operand by the right hand operand and returns the remainder. So if you have a number, let's say a percentage b, okay, so what it will do, it will divide a, okay, by b, okay, and suppose a divided b by b, you are, let's say, getting c here, and after doing some operations here, let's say d is the remainder, d is the remainder. Okay, so this modulus operator will just give you the remainder. Okay, no quotient will be provided, only remainder. So this is how it works. Okay, and then we have a exponent operator. If you give two stars like this, then this is your exponent. Exponent, I think you already know that. Suppose you have to find a to the power n. Okay, so that you could find using these operators. You have to write like this: a star star n. In this way, if you write, it will be executed. Let's say a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3. Okay, then a star star, okay, b if you write, then what it will do, it will find 2 to the power 3, which is actually 8. So the output of this statement will be how much? 8. Okay, if you don't type print also, if you just execute this statement, it will display you the result. Okay, so this is how you could execute it. This is how you could use the operators. Another one operator is also there. Let me just show you here. So there is a floor division operator. This operator, two slashes are there. So this is called a floor division operator. Okay. So here it just gives you it just gives you the quotient. Okay. So whatever decimal points are there after the quotient, they are actually removed. That means, let's say you are dividing, let's say a slash slash b, a floor division b. Then what you will get, see, you will be dividing a by b. So let's say you are getting c point e. Some fractions are there, some decimal is there. So here you are getting, let's say, obviously if you are using like fractional points, most likely you will get a quotient and hardly there will be any reminder. So the output of this will be this, only this c. Okay, only this c will be the output. Whatever decimal, whatever data is there after the decimal point, that will be neglected. Okay, that will be ignored, and only c will be the output. Okay, so this way we could execute. Let's say 3 is there, we are dividing by 2, so we are getting 1.5. So the result of will be here in this case. If you are using floor division, then 2 slash slash 3, okay, will give you only 1. 1 will be the output. Okay, so got it, or any doubts up to this?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, so once we discuss this way, I will show you the like the Python environment also. We will be also doing some small programs in that environment also. Okay, I will show you that also. So next is comparison operators. Comparison operators. Okay, so the comparison operators are like this. Okay, one is this equal to. You must have seen this in MATLAB, being used in MATLAB. So This is just that the two operands are equal. Okay, if the values of two operands are equal, then the condition is true. So mostly these are used with the conditional statements. Okay, if A is equal to B, that condition, if you want to check, you have to use these operators. So this is your equal, and this one, a exclamation mark followed by a equal is, this is not equal. Okay. Similarly, we have greater than symbol, greater than operator, less than operator, greater than equal to, okay, less than equal to, as we were having in the other programming languages. Okay, so these things are, as you could see, similar to other programming languages. Okay, simple ones. The next is the assignment operators. Okay, I hope you know about all these, right? Greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. These will be only used with the conditional statements. Let me write it here. Will be used with your conditional statements. Okay, statement. Okay, so the next thing is the assignment operators. Let us discuss the assignment operators. Assignment operators. Okay, so some of the assignment operators are like this. The first one is equal to. Okay, whatever is there on the right side will be copied to left side. Example is A equal to B. Okay, so whatever is there stored in the B register, B variable will be copied to A. Okay, then plus equal to, this is another operator. So it adds the right operand to the left. Okay, so it adds right operand, operation end is operand to left, and stores the result or assigns the result to left. Okay, that means if you type A plus equal to B, A and B are added and the result is stored in A. Okay, similarly minus equal to. Okay, so it subtracts the right operand from the left. Okay, so A minus equal to B. Okay, so B will be subtracted from A minus B. So whatever result you get, that result will be stored in the A register. That is what it does. Okay. Then the next is star, okay, asterisk equal to. Okay. So it multiplies the right operand with the left, and the result is stored in the left operand. That means if you have A star equal to B, okay, then A will be multiplied with B. Whatever result you get, that will be stored in A variable. Okay. Similarly, you also have modus equal to. Okay, you have divide, this slash equal to. I hope you understand the same operations that we discussed during the arithmetic operations. They will be performed and the result will be stored in the left side operand. Okay, so similarly we have this operator also, floor division operator also. Okay, so same way it operates as we have discussed in the case of arithmetic operators. Okay, then besides that, next operators, set of operators are your bitwise operators. Okay, so as the name implies, obviously you have to do bitwise operations, and or XOR, that kind of operation you have to do here. Okay, so these are the operations here. This is your binary AND. If you give a ampersand symbol, that is binary AND operation. Okay, then if you give a sign like this, okay, then this is your binary OR. Okay, similarly if you give a sign like this, caret sign, then this is a binary XOR. Okay, Similarly, if you give a similar sign, a tilde sign like this is basically your binary ones complement. Okay. Similarly, if you give a sign like this, less than, 2 times less than, so this is your binary left shift. Whatever data is there, that will be shifted to left by one position. Binary left shift. As you were doing the rotate accumulator left, rotate accumulator right operation in the case of 8085 microprocessor. Similar kind of operation will be done using this. Then this double greater than sign is the binary right shift. Right shift. Okay. So the next is the logical operators. Logical operators. While the bitwise operators do bitwise operations, they take ones and zeros and they do the operations. Here, in the case of logical operators, we will test the conditions, whether it is true or false. Okay. So in place of 1 and 0, we will have true and false. So the three operations that are there in this category are and, or, and not. Okay. So the first one is your logical and operation. Okay. If A is true and B is true, then only you will get a true and operation. Otherwise, it will be a false. Or operation, if either of the operands is true. So logical or. Okay. Similarly, not. So logical not. Okay. So these are the three operations that we have in the logical operators. Okay. So these are the logical operators. The next is membership operators. Membership operators. Okay. So the membership operators are like this. One is in, the other is not in. Okay. So basically, when we will be testing conditions, at that time we will be using these statements, these membership operators. Okay. So let's see, however, that what are their jobs. Okay. First is in. So it evaluates. Let me write it. Evaluates to true. Okay. If the variables on either side of the operator point to the same object. Okay. Point to the same object and false otherwise. Okay. Similarly, there is not in, as we normally use in the English language, in and not in. In the same way, you will find that we will be using this when we will be discussing the conditional statements. At that time, we will be using this, and that would be a good way to like clearly understand their operation. Okay. So there is then this not in, where it evaluates to true. Okay. If it does not find, a variable in the specified sequence. Okay. So we will be looking for particular numbers in a particular sequence. There will be a sequence of numbers. There will be testing whether a particular value is present or absent. Okay. So this is that kind of operators. So next is the identity operator. Okay, identity operators. So the first one is the is operator. Okay. So it evaluates to true. Okay. If the variables on the either side of the operator point to same object, okay, and false otherwise. and it is false otherwise. Okay, and then there is this is not, which is just the opposite of it. So if it is not present, it will be true. If it is present, it will be false. So evaluates to false if the variables on either side of the operator point to the same object. Okay, and true otherwise. So this will also be used during the conditional statements. Okay, so we have discussed the different operators in Python. Okay, the next thing that we will be discussing is the data types. Okay, what are the different data types that it supports? We will be also augmenting that with small program snippets. Okay, so data types in Python. So a total of 6 data types are there in Python. 6 data types. Okay, so they are these one by one. Let me write. One is your numbers, then there is your strings. Okay, then there is this list, then this tuple, then there is a set, and then there is this dictionary. So one by one we will discuss this. First is obviously the numbers. Okay, so what are the different kinds of numbers that can be stored? Obviously here we will be storing the numeric values. Let me write numeric values. Okay, so example could be like a is equal to 1, okay, or b is equal to 20, and that kind of thing you could do. So what are the different kinds of numbers we could store here? One is int, integer. Okay, these are basically signed numbers. Okay, and then there could be long. Okay, so long integers could be they could be like represented in octal also, hexadecimal also. Okay, however these are long integers. Okay, and then we could have float also, as we were having in the earlier programming languages also. So floating point values, decimal points will be there. Okay, and then complex numbers are also possible. Complex numbers, this makes it really good for scientific calculations also. Okay, complex numbers. So these are the different data types in the category of numbers. Okay, so one thing is that you don't need to specify a variable as a integer or a hexadecimal or something like that. You don't need to specify that. You only, if you directly store some data to a particular variable, it will directly take it as an integer. Such as this, a is equal to 1. If you give it, it will assume okay, it is an integer because it is already an integer. So there is no problem when you are executing it. The next is the string. Okay, next data type is the string. Obviously you know what is a string, so let me write it here, that strings in Python are identified as a contiguous set of characters. Okay, okay, so these are mostly represented in the quotation marks. So let me write that also, represented in the quotation marks. I will show you also example. So this is basically the definition of a string in Python, and let us see how we could declare a string. So let's say str is a variable where we will be storing a string. Okay, this is an example snippet. So string is equal to, in single quotes, okay, you have to type, let's say welcome. welcome to Python, Python, Python programming. Okay, so this will be stored. This is basically an example of a string. This is how you store a string. You want to display this one, then you type print, okay, str. This much if you type, it will just display you whatever you have stored. So it will show you, it will display you welcome to Python programming. This is as simple as that. Okay, so similarly, suppose in this string I just want to access one character, this character which I have highlighted here, and this w I want to access. So I have to specify its position. Okay, so I can type like this. See how I am accessing it. So if I type print, okay, then in the bracket I type string str, that name of that variable, and then I give a square bracket and I type 0, okay, and then bracket close. Then in that case the output will be how much? W will be the only output. Okay, similarly, suppose I want to access a string of data, a part of this particular string. Let's say from I want to get only that welcome. That welcome is written na? I want to get back, let's say I want to get that welcome. Let me just highlight it here. So this welcome is written, I want to access that. So you could see what are the position of the different characters here. Okay, so this one W is 0, then E is 1, L is 2, C is 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. So these are the characters that I want to access. Okay, so then the program for that, then the way to access it is like this. If I type print, okay, then str, then in the square bracket, okay, I will type 0, then I will give a colon like this. 0 is to how much? 6. Okay, if I type like this, then it will give the output welcome. Okay, so this way you could access the different values like this. Okay, let's say I want to access from that to Python programming. Okay, to Python programming. So you could see that the position is 6, 7, it is 8, then 9. So 7 onwards I want to access it. Okay, then I could use the command like this. I could use print, okay, str is that variable. Let's say 7 onwards. 7 is 2. Okay, so I will give a colon mark like this, and I will leave the other place blank, and I will then close the brackets. So this will give me to Python programming space, to space, it will be there, to, okay, Python programming. Okay, got it? So this is how you could access a store a string and you could access a string. The next is the list. List is another kind of data type. List. Okay, so list is an ordered sequence of items. Let me write it here. That list is an ordered sequence of items. Okay, so it is one of the most used data type of Python because it is quite flexible. Okay, let me show you an example then. Let's say my, okay, list, my underscore list, okay, my list is equal to, in square bracket I am typing A B C D, then comma 147 comma 2.43, okay, then comma, let's say uh, what is your name, let's say Rajiv, okay, and then let's say comma, and then let's say I am typing 74.9. Okay, so in this way you could see, so you could see different data types are there in this list. This one is a string, this one is an integer, this one is a float. Okay, then again a string, Rajiv is a string, then again a float. So different types of data types have been put in one list. So list can have the different kind of data types. Okay. One good thing about string is that you could later on, it is quite flexible and you could later on add on another data to it. Okay. So let me just show you how you could access the different items of this list. Okay. So if I just type print, okay, print, then in bracket, I will type my underscore list. Okay. So it will just display all these values. How it will display? It will display like this in single, like in brackets, it will display A, B, C, D. Okay, comma 147, comma 2.43, comma in single quotes, it will display Rajiv, and then comma 74.9. So it will display like this. Let's say I want to access only the first string ABCD. Okay, I just want to access this first string. Let me show you. Yeah, this ABCD only. Okay, then I can access it like this. I will type print. Okay, then my underscore list. Okay, then in square bracket, okay, then I will type 0. So because that is the first one, so it will be like this 0. If I type like this, what it will display, it will display A, B, C, D only. Similarly, if you want to access the second one, obviously you will give there 2. If you, let's say, want to access the second and the third item in this list, you will type like this print, okay, then my underscore list, then in bracket 2 is to 3. Okay, so 2 is to 3 like this, and then bracket close. So this will give you the second and the third value. So see, the first one is the 0th value, then the 1, then 2, then 3. So it will give you 2.43 and Rajiv. So the output will be 2.43, okay, in a bracket, obviously in a bracket 2.43, comma Rajiv in single quotes. So this will be the output. Okay, so this is about your list. Okay, the next thing that we will be discussing is a tuple. So you will find that tuple is quite similar to the list. Okay, this tuple data type that we will discuss now is quite similar to list. Only difference is that you cannot make modifications to a tuple. Okay, so a tuple is another sequence, okay, sequence data type that is similar to the list. Okay, so uh, the main difference the main difference uh, the main difference between list and tuple is that the lists are encoded by square brackets is, okay, lists are used by your square brackets, and tuples by this round brackets, okay, round parenthesis, okay, and tuples cannot be updated, okay, and tuples cannot be updated. That is the major difference. Okay, so they are basically read only, and let me write that also. Tuples are read only. You cannot make any modifications in it. So example, let me just show you similar example. Let's say first underscore tuple, okay, is equal to in bracket ABCD, okay, 147, 2.43, then let's say minus, okay, then let's say 7. So this way you could actually store. Okay, the only difference you could see between this one and the previous one is this bracket. Here there are round brackets, okay, and in the previous case there were square brackets. Okay, and we could access the tuple exactly in the same way we were accessing the list. Okay, example is like this: print, let's say, first underscore tuple. Okay, then in square bracket I will type 1. Okay, can you tell me what will be the output of this statement? Print first underscore tuple in bracket I have 1. So what will be displayed? Anyone?
147.
Very good, very good. So 147 will be displayed. If I had written 2, obviously 2.43 would have been displayed. If I had written, let's say, yeah, if I had written how much? 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. If I write 3, then minus will be displayed. Okay. So only 147 will be displayed in this case. Okay. So now let us discuss another data type, that is the set. Okay. So set is an ordered collection of unique items. Okay. So let me write that set is an unordered collection of unique items. Okay, so here also a set is defined by values separated by comma. Okay, and it is inside your curly brackets, so it will be defined inside your curly brackets. Okay, that is the difference. Okay, uh, they may be different types of integers, floats, tuples, strings, anything could be there, huh? Let me just show you an example. So example is like this. Let's say it is like this. Example, s1 is equal to, in curly bracket you will write 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is a set of integers. This is just a set of integers, and you could then type print, okay, s1. It will display you 1, 2, 3. It will display you like this: 1 comma 2 comma 3. So set is like this. So similarly you could have, let's say, s3, s3 is equal to, in curly bracket you have 1 comma 2.4 comma apple. Okay, then let's say tom, this is also there, then comma 3. So this could be like this also. So if you just type print here, okay, let's say s3. Okay, so it will display all these values in curly brackets. It will show you 1 comma uh, 1 comma then 2.4 apple. This way it will display comma tom. Okay, so this way it will display you. So the good thing about this set is that you could do all the set related operations, like union of sets is there, intersection of sets is there, and that kind of operations you could do with this kind of data type. That is the reason we have a set data type. Okay, so you could do all kind of those operations which you do with the sets, union, intersection, etc. The next data type is dictionary. Okay, so dictionary is an unordered collection of key value pairs. Dictionary is an unordered collection of key, so key and value will be there, key value pairs. So it is actually denoted like this. Let me just show you an example. It will be quite clear what is a dictionary. Let's say dict is a variable. It is a dictionary basically, where we are storing these values. One is the key. Try to understand. One is the key, and the value is one. huh? Or you could write here red or blue or something like that. Okay, so this will be a value, and let's say 1 is a key. Okay, then similarly 2 is a key. Okay, and this TWO2 is a value. Okay, so if I type print this dict, so it will show me the output. Let's say 1 is to ONE1. The good thing about it is, by using these keys, okay, this 1 and this 2, this key, you could get back the value. Okay, so this is quite useful actually. So always you will have this key. Using this key you could access the value. That is the good thing about this uh, dictionary. Okay, so 2 is to 2, so it will display like this. Okay,